Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Just doing a quick sound check. Brice, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect. And you?
Okay, perfect. Welcome. Welcome, everybody, to one of our new series about the solutions webinar. And today we're going to talk about marketing operations. And I have today the pleasure to invite Brice Delourmel, who's one of our customers out of Paris. And Brice will take the stage right after me. He's senior product manager at Believe, digital artist company. So impressive company. And you'll learn today how they decided to optimize the marketing processes and the process that they actually went through. And of course, as usually, I have Frédéric Duchy from here. He's one of our product specialists, and he builds pretty much all the templates and the solution that we have for our clients. So without further ado, I'm going to go into the agenda. So the session is recorded. We'll do a quick introduction to Baserow for those who are new to Baserow. So apologies for those of you who know us already, but I think I'll just try to give it a bit of new information today for you as well. And then we'll go into the use case from Brice at Believe, and then I'll pass the word to Frédéric. Frédéric has built a solution with a number of databases and a front-end application in Baserow related to marketing operations, and then there will be enough time for live Q&A, right? So the session is recorded. If you need to leave early, you'll get the recording afterwards. And please feel free to ask all of the questions. I might have a couple of polls that I inject in during the session, right? So just to get a feel about why you're here and what type of problems that you're facing. But let me start first with giving a quick snapshot of who we are. So I'm glad to announce we passed the bar of 100,000 signups just a couple of months ago. As you can see, we continue to see pretty good traction, right? We actually see an acceleration. Interesting enough, since so many people are using ChatGPT, we also see quite a bit of inbound coming from ChatGPT searches. But it's great to see that people continue to sign up as a tool, and you're going to see it today. The platform has a database builder, pretty much to structure and collaborate around the data. It has an application builder in order to build a front-end application. So that's why you actually build your own tools. We recently introduced graphs and dashboard, which is a way to visualize certain data. We have AI capabilities in the tool for a while in order to enrich, classify, create content. And we're actually working currently very hard, and it's going very well on the AI assistant. So that is something that we will be launching in the beginning of July or August. Depends a little bit how fast the developers continue to work. So that will be a new interface to tool whereby you can prompt Baserow to create things, to change things in the database, probably later also on the application side. So this is, really making sure that the ease of use of the tool is continue to increase so that you can basically prompt our AI assistant to do work for you. And then also in line with the automations, which is something that we are making great progress and will be releasing July as well. A first beta version, basically to create workflows. We'll be also able to create AI agents within Baserow so that more and more of these tasks can be automated to help you with your productivity. In terms of what people build with Baserow, with so many users, we have a bit of relevant data at this stage, and we see a lot of task and project management system. You'll see also today there's an element of that in what we're going to show. It's a great tool for the data repository, be it on content for marketing, be it on data labeling, be for researchers. As I mentioned, building internal tools so that you don't have to use spreadsheets, but you can build a tool pretty much for any workflow or a process that you would like to have something, be it in the purchasing department, be it in an HR department, be it in the marketing department, as we're going to talk about today. CRM, we see quite a bit as well. SaaS solutions, which is a bit particular because our tool being open source, you can actually take the software, deploy it on a server, build a solution, white label Baserow, and then sell it to your own clients. So this is a good business model for our software vendors, partner who are building solutions in their specific markets. And then lastly, HR system is one that we see recurring quite often. In terms of the tools that we replace, and I'll have a little bit of a poll on that as well, we see about 65% of spreadsheet replacement. Then Airtable is good second, and third is maybe some more legacy custom applications, which are a little bit more complicated to and less flexible than a tool like Baserow is the third type of tool that we are seeing. In terms of why Baserow, you might ask, there's a lot of no-code tools out there. There's a lot of SaaS offerings. There's a lot of competitors, but because it is a crowded market, typically what we see is the reason has to do with either performance, or either the fact that you have a SaaS and an on-premise capability of the tool, which is probably the most compelling reason for most of our customers. The interoperability, obviously a lot of our customers already have their tools in place, so having a tool which is API first and that will talk easily with other tools is critical. We don't live in a green field or on an island, so we were just one of the tools of the many tools that companies use. The open source nature is probably as important as a SaaS and on-premise. That means the tool is open source. You don't have the vendor locking that you typically might have with a SaaS-only product or a proprietary product. If we happen to disappear or if you happen to get acquired, whatever happens to Baserow, you have the source. You can continue to run the software until you decide to migrate to something else. So this is really important, but also it's a business opportunity. As I mentioned, if you are in the software business, if you are an idea of how you would use Baserow and sell it into a specific market, be it manufacturing, be it in a digital agency, be it in the real estate agencies world, for instance, you can build a solution and then offer it as a SaaS to your clients, and you are mastering and responsible for the software yourself. And then finally, user experience. That's, to be honest, kind of a level playing field. So you have to be good at the user experience. You have to have the flexibility in order to compete in the SaaS market. Where will you be able to find us? We are in a lot of social media outlets, so Discord, Twitter, LinkedIn, Reddit. Feel free to, if you like what you've seen today, if you're not on one of these social media channels following us yet, then feel free to do so. So in terms of what we're going to cover today, so that was just a quick introduction on Baserow. What we're trying to do today is to give you a bit of an idea of how you can manage performance and manage the tracking of your campaign performance, right? So that's what a lot of the marketing operations teams need to do. At the same time, managing the marketing assets. So where do you keep them? How do you organize that? How do you make sure that you have the right copies and that people have access to that? Then obviously, if you're doing good work on the marketing side, lead management and nurturing, we'll show you how you can do that in the sales funnel. Integration and coordination. So that means more, how do you actually align the different teams that are in marketing and make sure that everybody has the same information at the same time? And then data-driven insights and reporting. That touches a little bit more on the use case of today. Also what Brice is doing with his team, and he will go into greater detail on that front. The challenges that we're trying to address with the solution that we're going to discuss today is the inconsistency of data capture, be it in different formats, in different tools. These data silos, or a lot of our clients have different departments, and then every department has their version of the data. So how do you actually share that between teams and departments? The security and governance, right? Typically, we say we don't trust SaaS. I think to a certain extent, SaaS is okay, but SaaS is not okay for every size of companies and every data, right? And especially spreadsheets are a lot more tricky in terms of process tools. So eliminating that and getting more governance around the data is something that we'll show you how to do today. Flexibility, right? A lot of the out-of-the-box solutions tend to be a bit rigid. I know how we develop features. Before you have a lot of features in your tool, and just a small portion of these features are being used. So how do you make sure that you build and you have the features that exactly you need for your process? Lack of developers. So actually, Brice will talk about how he did to this time, right? So there's actually the first time he actually took a third-party vendor in terms of tool instead of developing itself. So it would be great to hear a bit about that from Brice. And then cost. the tools need to be affordable at any scale. It's nice to have something for prototyping and MVP, but what happens if you start to deploy it to hundreds, thousands of users? And how do you make sure that the cost, not just of building the solution, but then of running it and having a large number of users, is making sense economically? So we're going to try to solve all of that with the use case of Brice and the own solution that we're going to show today. So before we do so, I would like to ask you guys a quick question. So let me actually see if I can do that here. Let me add the poll. Go. Just give me a second how to do this. Application US, yes. Okay, I'll do that in a minute. What I'm going to do, I just need to figure out how to do it. I thought I could launch it just from here, but it doesn't look like I can. So Brice, I'm going to hand over the screen and the word to you, okay?
Okay, thanks. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, the screen. Is it okay for you?
Yes, we can see it.
Perfect. So hi everyone. So this is my first webinar. So thank you so much for the invite. I'm going to start with a quick introduction. So I'm working at Believe since 2012. I started as content manager for 1 year and a half, and I quickly moved to project management. First as a product owner, then a product manager. So I've worked on several topics, but for the last 3 years, actually, I work for the audience development tribe to build products to help our marketing teams in their daily work. So few words about Believe. So Believe is a digital music distributor, and we are here to help artists and labels to develop their audience. So in few key figures, so we are #1 in France. We had several singles and albums in the top 200. We generated more than 800 billions of streams and generated to 988 millions of euros over the last year. And actually, our mission, we are here to best serve local artists and labels in the digital ecosystem with fairness, expertise, respect, and transparency. So during this webinar, we'll see first our users and process. Actually, what were our pain points and the top needs to assess. And I will show you our setup and with a quick demo. And then why actually we choose also Baserow. And finally, what are the next steps for us. So, like I said, I work now for the audience development tribe, and our squad is working for EMPs, meaning editorial marketing partnership. There are 100 people in 24 international teams. They have to promote our catalog, but also to report successes. So here is a here is a process of EMP job. So first of all, they have to pitch releases. So meaning gathering and collecting and prioritizing all the release they want to push to the stores. So Deezer, Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, and a lot of them. In order to get visibility on store. So this is the first step. This first step is the pitching phase. The second step is the objective to get visibility, and in a third step, they have to collect, store, and report results. So here, it means that okay, this is what Believe get for you. So this is the first step, reporting. So EMPs are working with account manager. There are 500 people in Believe, and they are here to build the strategy and the strong relationship between Believe and the artist and the labels. And we decided less than 2 years ago to focus on this step, the step reporting. But before talking about pain points, need, etc., I just wanted to show you what kind of successes we are looking for. So first of all, we have highlights. So highlights is like in-app promotion, but also post on social media sponsored by stores like this on Amazon Music. We have also marketing activations, which is actually every promotion like outside the application, such as a billboard in street, but also on Times Square, as you can see. And finally, the most popular one, the editorial playlist inclusion. So every inclusion we can have on playlists managed by the store itself. So this is the kind of success we are looking for every week. So talking about our pain point. So starting digging on this third step, which is reporting, collecting, storing successes, we had several pain points to address. In fact, our teams were not standardized at all, using different processes, different timeline. So that was the first pain point. The second one is the data was not centralized at all and cannot be used internally, for example, to monitor EMP performance and to have also a global overview on all results EMP may have. The third one was more about, the process was really time-consuming, not optimized. And the last one was more focused on the number of tools used by all the EMP teams. So some of the teams were using Airtable, other Excel file, Mailchimp, Word file, or even data directly into an emails. So that's why we wanted to work on this step in order to improve and avoid these pain points. So after a long discovery with our users, we highlighted 5 top needs to manage. So the first one, which is actually the most important one, is to collect and store results. The second one is to import and classify screenshots or images, which are actually powerful assets to share to our clients. A third one is to deploy a global template for everyone, but also the customization because of some local specificities. We wanted also to have an overview on all EMP results at local and worldwide level. And finally, we were looking for a solution to easily share results to account manager on a weekly basis, because in fact we are reporting success every Friday afternoon to our artists and labels. So now let's dig into our Baserow setting. So I think our setup is not so complex because we only have one database named Result Hub, and we have 3 tables. So we have 2 indexes. The first one is more related to what I call pitches index, is all the releases we are pitching to the store. So we are requesting promotion. The other one is a list of all potential results we are looking for. So all the playlists we are monitoring, all the partnership we can have with the stores and stuff like that. And the master one is the results. So it's a combination of these 2 indexes in which we can list all the results on all releases we have. And actually, this table is shared with 500 people, and at the end with all the clients to share results and to share the visibility we have on our catalog. So better than words, I think it's time to do a demo. So right here, as you can see, it's our internal tool. So this is actually the first step of the process of the EMP process. So the pitches is our tool to have a full list of the release we have to promote to stores. So this tool is really helpful when EMPs have to prioritize, rework, and send promo requests to stores. So here, for example, they can check promotional information like a punchline, a marketing plan, promo plan, and also technical information such as IDs or metadata regarding the release. And when the release is pitched, so when the promotion request is done to the store, the EMP has to switch as pitched using the status of the request. So when it's switched as pitch, it's automatically filled in into Baserow and into our pitched index. So this is one of our two indexes. Here we have a full list of all the releases that EMPs pitch to the stores. And as you can see, we have a unique identifier here, which is actually in the music business, it's UPC or SAC, but it's a unique identifier. And for each product, we have, for example, the release title, the track title, the main artist name, and the account manager name, etc., etc. So this is connected to our track pitch tool. We have a second index, which is actually all the result we are looking for split per stores. So here, for example, we have all the playlists that EMPs are monitoring, all the highlights, all the marketing activation too. So as you can see, each result has name, store, link, category, etc. And the last table is the results that EMP succeed. So here it's the view, it's the EMP view in which they can add results for all of our catalog. So using only two fields, I'm able and is an EMP to fill in a new result. So for example, here I'm adding a row above, up. I'm looking for a release I want to report a success. So for example, this one. As you can see, every release information is our auto field. Then I'm looking for the result I want to report. So for example, here I'm looking for the new Music Friday, which is a famous playlist on Spotify. So for example, this one. And as you can see, same principle. I'm filling automatically all the result information. So in few clicks, EMP are now able to add a new result. But we also connected this view, this table with internal monitoring tool. It means that every day our system is feeding this table and displaying the results on pitched releases. So this is a working, I would say, table, working view for EMPs. And when everything is clean, everything is ready to share, EMPs are sending an email to account manager, sharing this link, and every account manager are able to, for example, looking for the results they want to report to the artist, or even maybe they can also export using an Excel file or a zip with the asset, because I told you before, like the assets are a powerful thing to share to clients, because it just it displays the results of the pitch. So that's it regarding I would say our first usage of Baserow. So going back to the presentation. So why we decided to go further with Baserow? So we did a benchmark on several solutions actually, even in-house solution, but this option was too long to develop, like Olivier said. And to be honest, the no-code solution is a great solution when you have some, for example, internal tech priorities and low development budgets. And regarding the other solutions, there were more like project monitoring and reporting solutions, or they were too expensive or not really stable. So, for example, here are a few reasons on why we decided to move forward with Baserow. So I found the solution really complete and stable with a great UI UX. The support was really good actually and really reactive. I thought also that the roadmap is really clear and shared too, which is really nice. And obviously the price was really also competitive. But also we had also tech requirements, like we are doing self-hosted database. We have Azure AD authentication. We can import, export data really easily. We can automate also data ingestion to make things faster. And we can also create a shareable template without extra cost. So the solution, we deployed this solution early January. So a few teams are still, I would say, need more time to be on board. But here are a few user feedback, actually. So some of them are like the way that they find all the successes in one place and see like all the MP2s are becoming connected. They also like the way that it's organized and also the way that they can have their own view. Yeah, that's pretty positive, I think. So like every company, we have also objectives. So the first one, so today we have, I would say, 70% of our user using the new process and the solution. We are looking for 100% actually. And so why today we have 30% of user not really on board? It's really because few of them still have, for example, premium Airtable licenses with connection with Power BI, and so it's pretty hard to change, I would say, the habits. And other teams still need, I would say, the training. But this is something we are strongly working on it. So I'm quite confident that we should reach 100% before summer. The second, actually, I don't have any KPI today, but it's like in progress. We want to analyze the accuracy of the data shared to the account managers and the clients. So we plan to send a survey in order to get feedback and to see how the data is accurate. And the last objective is, I think, the most important one is like the efficiency of the way AMP are collecting results. So we definitely want to decrease the time spent on collecting results. So I would say that it's different depending to the team. Because as the team were differently processed and organized, the change is like sometimes complex. So I would say that we decreased for 50% of the team the collecting process, mainly on the team who used to work with Excel files or freemium Airtable account without archive management, for example. I would say also that 30% is equal, so it's not so bad. And 20% is lower because a few of them were strongly processed, like I said, add automation, script, and thing connecting between other tools. So we need more time, I would say, to work on this. So it's a hard challenge actually, but that's why we are still thinking on the next steps regarding our Baserow integration. That's why we are looking for 3 main topics on the upcoming month. So as we want to still improve the user experience to reach our objectives, we have these 3 main improvements. So the first one is, I think it's to better improve the process, we need to better understand how the results are monitored, managed, reported. So the first thing is to have, for example, an analytic dashboard allowing us to better understand this. So for example, it could be a dashboard or a Power BI connection, allowing us to play with the data we are gathering. The second one is we want to facilitate the data collection. So I think the notification system is a good idea when, as we have a collaborative database, it would be great to have a notification saying, for example, as an EMP, I would like to be notified when another EMP added a result on my scope. So I think it will be really efficient to avoid duplicates or manual checks, for example. And finally, regarding the way we are sharing reports with account manager, I think we could automate a bit more the way we are sharing results. So for example, by creating automated reports for account managers with results on their scope, for example. So that's it. Don't hesitate if you have any questions.
Thanks, Brice. This is great. And maybe just to come on the next steps, yes. So automations, as you've seen it probably on the beginning intro, is coming, right? So we actually are making good progress on being able to, basically what it is when something happens in a specific table, maybe data needs to be updated automatically in another table based on specific condition that you said, and then you inform someone or a bunch of people that need to know about it. So this is work in progress. So I think it's going to be another 1.5 months or so before we have something in beta that we can release, which is great. Analytics and dashboards, obviously, Power BI integration would be great. We don't have a native one yet, but it's one of these integrations we have foreseen, and we want to prioritize pretty quickly because it's a great analytics tool. But then even the dashboards and ability to create dashboards in Baserow keep improving with the different releases, right? And then I think the automation of creating reports, same thing. It's the same work of creating notifications or email sending. Is basically how do you eliminate the human in between, right? So I think there's one way of doing that, and there's another way of doing it is basically to create a portal that is an individual portal for every account manager, and they can go and log in with their SSO, and then they have their personalized views of the result that they want to see, right? And so that's taking a bit step further. Is okay, for all the account managers, you have your personalized view of the data. You just have to log in, and every week, and you'll have the data updated pretty much in real time as you go through it. So thanks. I think it's great. I think there's a question, right, from Halle. Good job, inspiring to see how musical label embrace no code in this. Is this even common in this industry? So that's the first question, Brice.
I think it's more common because we are still looking. We want to implement new process without spending too much time, too many times. So that's why today I did my first integration, but I know that other departments are using external solution, for example, for project monitoring, such as Notion or Salesforce, or more on legal and yeah, financial topics most of the time. But on the marketing side, yeah, I think that's it's like pretty new. But
And then there's a
yeah.
follow-up question on that, Brice, which is, does it actually did have like an impact on the type of people that Believe is hiring, right? So yeah, I know some of the other teams that I've worked with in some other departments in Believe. I mean, are you the typical profile of the person doing these type of projects, or was that like because it's no code, you can actually do it with a business hat on instead of having to be a developer?
Yes, sure. Actually, so I'm product manager, so you're right. It's like pretty different to integrate a solution into to an ecosystem and compared to building from scratch. But to my point of view, it's like it's not it's different, but it's like yeah, I don't know how can I explain it, but on yeah, it's complementary. So I think it's a good but for business people, I think it's not a big change because they have their expertise. So no matter the tool they are using, they can easily be on board. Just change it a bit and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's answering the question, but
Yeah, it does. And thanks. Sorry, it wasn't Halle, it was Amaury. Okay, apologies for that. Meanwhile, I actually found where I needed to go to publish a poll. So I'm going to do this. So please take a moment to publish, to actually respond. You should be able to see. Do you see the poll? Normally, you should be able to respond. Let's give it a couple of seconds. All right, so we've got a couple of answers, so they're still coming in. So I'm just gonna get okay. So it's a good number. So okay, hold on. Let's give it a few more seconds. All right. So spreadsheet still taking the lead. It's at 50% at the moment. A couple of Airtable. Well, actually, Airtable is getting bigger. So let's give it a few more seconds to see what tool you would eventually be looking at replacing. Okay, so it's a close call between, I think spreadsheets, we'll call it as the number one, followed by Airtable, followed by custom tool, which is pretty consistent with the data that we're seeing in general. So thanks for answering that one. So Brice, thanks again. I know it's been nice working with you in the last couple of months, right? So definitely great to see. I like the target of getting 100% of the team on. I know how it works, right? Sometimes if you have an existing tool, it is well integrated. It's sometimes a bit harder, right, to go and switch over. So definitely, I hear that. So if we can do anything to help you, then definitely. But thanks again for coming out today, and please stay on. We might have more questions for you as we progress through the webinar. So without further ado, Frédéric, I'm going to pass the stage to you, and Frédéric's gonna show you a bit of a different use case, but something that he built based on what we've seen, things we do ourselves, and also what some of our customers are doing. So Frédéric, over to you.
Yeah, hello. So yeah, I'm going to present the marketing solution bundle that I've created with Baserow. So it involves 4 databases and 1 application. The databases we have so those are templates I've been using. The employee directory, which has all the employee information. A database for campaign management, where you can manage your campaigns, track the success of activities. It's combined with asset management. So let's say for an activity, you need a couple of assets, like you need your company logo, you need some copy text to publish, you need some images. Those are all assets. And it also integrates with the lead management system or a CRM system where you can track which leads, which target groups are involved in a campaign and are responding to your campaign. So let's switch to Baserow. Let's first start with the databases itself. So my employee directory, well, my employees, they work for a certain department. They work in a certain office location, but here is their information. So yeah, they are a manager or a supervisor for a certain unit. And I link this employee table to my second database, my campaign management table, and I call it the staff members here. And it's a feature that we have since, I think, Baserow 1.29 or 1.30, that I can sync tables from one database or even from one workspace to another. And I can also automatically sync them. So now it's set to manual, but I can do it on a daily or an hourly base. And in my campaign management database, what I have is I have my campaigns and I have a color in front of them to indicate how successful my campaign is. And the color is set by checking if a campaign is successful. And checking if it's successful is just having a target value with an actual value, and a formula field here calculates the difference between the two. And I also set a unit. So for example, the end of the year clearance, the objective is to boost sales revenue. I have a table with my objectives over here. An objective has a name, has a unit, and I can also track which campaigns are used or are set to reach this objective. So yeah, the unit is coming from my objective. So I want to boost sales with 10,000 euros, while the actual value was 9,800. So I have a target difference of -2. Another campaign, the referral program boost campaign, I had a positive difference of 17. So that was a very successful campaign. Yep. So campaign information, campaign is linked to objectives. A campaign has one or more activities. Activities had a certain cost that comes with a budget, and they also have a certain status. And I can do UTM tracking for activities where it's needed. And I can link metrics to them. And those metrics allow me to calculate KPIs like my CTR, CVR, CPC, and CPM. Okay, so next to my activities, I also have a table with required assets coming from my assets table. And like the icon tells you, this is linked to my assets database. So I have my brand asset manager, where I have a number of assets with all the detailed information for that asset. So I have an author for it, an approver for it. It has one or multiple tags. It has a status, a version. It's linked to one or multiple files. It's part of a style guide, and so on. And finally, my final database is my lead management, where I use target groups. My staff members here are account managers. I link the campaigns to it. So campaigns is a linked table. And yeah, my leads are linked to a target group. And then I can also link each interaction. So I have a table with interactions over here. Can be linked to a campaign, but it's not obligated. It's just something that you can do. You can link an interaction to a campaign. So those are the databases. For those who are familiar with Baserow, well, you can work with them just like you would work in a spreadsheet. You can add fields. You can use several field types. I haven't installed that much views, but you can, for example, group your information. So I can set a group by lead. I can make a sort. I can make filters, multiple views, and so on. But what I did, I created an application on top of it, and the application on top of it merges actually the 4 databases into one single solution. So my application for marketing operations. So I will sign in with a user. And then I have my dashboard. I have an overview of the active campaigns coming from the database. I also have an overview of all my scheduled campaigns, like those 2 or those that are already completed. Let's pick, for example, the summer sale 2025 campaign. Let's check at the details. And over here, I have all my related activities. So the activities are shown in the database. Well, they are mentioned here. Also, all the fields I had in my database are available here, are easy to read. So I have my activities, for example, a paid search. I also have, and this is coming from my lead database, showing that you can integrate multiple databases in a single application. Those are the target groups involved in the activity. So, for example, the inactive users with a small description for them. And also all the interactions that I had with leads based on this campaign are, based on this activity, are, based on this campaign is mentioned over here. Yeah. So yeah, I have the possibility to create a new activity. This opens a form, so it shows the existing activities. I can add a new one, for example, a social media campaign. I assign it to one of my employees. I can check one or multiple assets that I will require for it. I set a start and end date. Let's start it tomorrow and end it somewhere next week. And I can offer it a budget. So I'm adding the activity. Activity has been created. All the assets are here. I can also update the assets if I want to add or remove certain assets. Okay, let's go back to my campaign and pick a existing activity. I talked about the metrics and about the KPIs. So the click-through rate, conversion rate, cost per click, and cost per 1,000 impressions. I can check detailed information. So I have the numbers day by day. So for example, for the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th of June, I have my number of impressions, clicks, and conversions. And based on that, I calculate my KPIs day by day. And I also, through the iframe element, show them in a chart so that I can see how fast is my are my impressions growing, when are they slowing down a little bit. Yep. The metrics, you can drag them in through an automation, or you can manually add one and it will just update. Yeah, also for my assets. So I have all the assets over here. If I select a certain asset, I can add one or multiple tags to it, just like I did in the database. I can also set a status and I update my assets. I also have a link to the file, so I can click on the file and it will automatically play my file. I can also download the file. Yeah, it isn't used in style guides or in activities. If it was so, I can click through. Which brings me to the final part, the lead management. So I can check all my leads, or I can group them by a manager or by a source. For example, show me all the leads coming from our socials, all the leads coming from an event, referral, and so on. So if I check a certain lead, I have email, phone, all the general information. I have the account manager responsible. I have the source. I can see the target groups that they are part of, and I can see the interaction. It's also possible to add an interaction over here. So let's say today we had a phone call. We had a phone call about the summer sale campaign. Is interested. Okay, I add my interaction, it's immediately added over here. And also if I go to my database and I check my interactions over here, yeah, you can see the line on top is added in my database. So you can work both in the database or in the application. The major benefit of the application is that it allows you to integrate multiple databases and show a nice overview of all your data. So if you want to get started yourself, the templates shown here will be published with the 1.34 update. But we already have a number of templates. If I check here in the category marketing, so we have a lot of templates about marketing, SWOT analysis, for example, net promoter score, event planning, and so on. So you can simply select one of the templates, for example, the net promoter score. You click use the template, it installs the template in your workspace. You can start modifying it and using it. Okay, so this was in a nutshell an overview of how you can integrate your campaign management, your asset management, and your lead management, all with Baserow in a single application.
Thanks, Frederick. So one of the things, and we might want to show it, is actually how the builder maybe looks like. So obviously you've seen the finished product, right? You see the databases, you see the application, but all this is being built in a what we call an application builder, right? And the application builder has its own user interface, so that you don't have to be a developer. And yeah, maybe we can spend 1 or 2 minutes just quickly showing what the builder is, so that we, for those who are not so familiar, because I think a lot of users understand the database component, the application builder component is sometimes a bit newer for our users.
Yeah, sure. So this is my application. Like a database has multiple tables, an application has multiple pages, and a database has multiple tables linked to each other with a linked field. Well, pages can also be linked to each other. And on a page, there are actually two kinds of elements. You had the static elements, like, for example, here, my title, active campaigns. So maybe let me just create a new page, call it a demo. So I can create an element, for example, a header element. I call this one demo. It's a static element, just like a text element, image element, an iframe when you want to embed code, a hyperlink button. That's a new one, a rating element. The menu, that's what I use on top, and login form to authenticate the user. So those are the more static elements, but it's interesting when you have data, dynamic data from your database. So instead of demo, let me say, okay, those are all my campaigns. And I'm going to create a data source over here. My data source will return multiple rows. I will show all my campaigns over here. It's from my campaign management database, campaigns table, view all campaigns, and I save my data source. Now I need to visualize it. Simplest way is to do it in a table. I select the table element, I select all campaigns, and it shows all my data. And from here on, I can configure it. For example, description, I don't want to see this field. My start and end date, it's okay. My budget, I want to have a euro sign in front of it. So I just type the euro sign in front of it. And maybe I want to style it a little bit so that my budget is shown in another color. So you can also do some styling with it. Yeah. I can also link to a second page. And I can also make it interactive. So for example, if I remove this table, I just want to create a form. And in my form, I like to have a input field, for example, with a name. And so for the input elements, I also have events. So when I add a button or a form, I have an event. In case of a form, it's submitting a form. I want to add an action to it. And we have the following actions. I can just show a notification, very simple. I can go to another page. I can log out my user, refresh the data source. But in this case, I want to create a new record. I'm going to do this in my campaign management database, in my campaigns table. And the name will be the name I had over here. I can also hard code something. This is the description, for example. And I'm going to try previewing this. Yeah. This is my new campaign. Okay, I submit it. And if I now go to my database again, I see the records over here. This is my new campaign. So the application builder, you have an application with one or multiple pages. You can show data through what I have used here is the repeat element, or what I use here is the table element. And you can modify your data using a form. For example, that's what I do here with add new activity. I select my form. Clicking the form triggers an event, creating a record in my activities table with those form fields. And I have a second event here that I want to open the details of the record that I just created.
So maybe to link it to the case of Believe that we saw earlier, the powerful thing here is that you create the database first at the backend, which is basically what Brice has showed us. And then, Brice mentioned, for instance, he has hundreds of account managers, right, that want to see the results, right? So the good thing, and then it becomes complicated because you would have to create hundreds individual views, maybe, and then send them through email. So that still remains a little bit of a manual process. So as you can see here on the screen from Frederick, you see general, style, and visibility, right, and events, right? So basically, what you can build here, right, an idea is to build an app, right, which is branded with the elements that you want to see, and that connects to the data sources, and where the visibility is only, for instance, for logged in users, right? You say, okay, if you're an account manager, you need to log in, right? If you're an account manager of Believe, you log in with your credential, and then you have visibility to the data in the database that pertains to you, right? So your artists, your campaigns that are running, and when you log in, the only data that is going to be surfaced in the app is what is belonging to you. So you don't see anything of the rest. You actually see only for yourself. So this is useful for, we see it in manufacturing for tasks, for payroll agents, for instance. Also, we have we've done some projects with some big payroll companies where everybody needs to see the task of the day, the task of the week, the task of the month, want to see the specific result, are things overdue, or accountancy firms. So you start to see the capabilities of having a very strong database from which you immediately actually build the app on top of that, because all of the data is sitting in that database. And that database is also connected through what you mentioned, Brice, where you can connect it to other external systems so that it's updated constantly when something changes somewhere else. So you start to see, Baserow becomes sort of the system sitting in the middle of other systems, whereby it receives and sends back information, and then you can decide to either work directly in the user interface of the database, which Frederick showed, or you create an application at the front end, which Frederick also showed. And Brice, in your case, you haven't built that, right? You have another process that you with sending, for instance, information, but you could, it would be perfectly possible to extend that to build an app for specific profiles of users so that they can see the result. And then the whole emailing is not there anymore, for instance, right? And then all the data is constantly updated, because every time you log in, you have the real-time data, which is pretty powerful. So imagine, internal tools, but these can also be, if you're in marketing agency, if you have clients and you have projects for your clients and you want to show that to external, the app builder is made that way that it's that is reachable by external users as well, right? That's what you have with the visibility tab that is on the builder. So it has a lot of use case potential with the same objective, which is there's just one source of truth for the data, right? It's real time, so, and people collaborate, and the data is structured, so it's not in different files or different tools, right? It's one sort of data, and then you decide how to work with it. You either work in the spreadsheet like of environment, or you prefer to have apps, right? It depends the use cases. And then the graphs and dashboards is another builder, which we haven't demoed today, which is, how do you visualize data from different sources? It works as an app, right? Whereby you go and fetch data from different sources and then show that data in different graphs, right? So bar chart, summary tabs, and all these things. So what you haven't seen today is automations, right? Automations is something that today we use a lot of N8N, which is an open source tool for workflow automation you might be familiar with. Like I said, we'll be launching our own version in the month of July, so stay tuned for that. I have a last little poll before we let you go and we check some of the questions. I'd be curious to see what is the type of ROI that you would be looking for, because Brice mentioned some of the objectives, right? So adoption, but also time saving, etc. So I would love to see some answers from you guys to see what exactly is the ROI that you would be looking for by adopting a tool like that. So feel free to go, and you should be able to see the poll. So let me check that for a moment. Here we go. All right. So, okay. Yeah, better collaboration, number one. Cost saving. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me just do it now. I was a bit fast. A lot of answers are coming in. Okay, so better collaboration, number one, followed by time saving and cost saving. A bit of data security and governance, but obviously the cost and time saving and working in real time together is the winner here. Awesome. So let me check if we have any questions. So I've got a question here from Michelle. Is it possible to interact with a table in an application, Frederick? I mean, for example, changing the status of waiting for approval to approved. You want to take that one, Frederick?
Yeah, I was preparing a demo for it. So I added the table element again. And what I can do is add a button in my table element. So a table can have plain text, can have tags, for example, for a single multiple select field, can have a link, a button, an image, or a rating element. So I picked the button. I offer it the text update status, for example. And what I can do is, if I click the button, I'm going to update a record. The record I'll be updating is, I'm working in campaign management. Yep. My campaigns, for the ID of my selected record, I will set the status to completed. And the next thing I'm going to do is, of course, refresh my data source so that it will reflect my changes. So I run this in a preview mode. This one is planned, update status. Made a mistake somewhere. But yeah, normally it's because it's live and a pretty quick one. Let's see if I can have some error information. Seems that the value is not completed. Maybe I missed a field. Yeah, I think that's okay. In the start field. It needs to be in the status field. So let's do a second check. Update my status. Yeah, it's not a good idea to demonstrate this live, but normally it's possible to update it.
Okay, thanks a lot, Frederick. I think we've gone through all the questions, so I want to thank everybody for sticking around. You'll be receiving the recording right after this webinar. Thank you again, Brice. Really appreciate you taking.
Thank you, guys.
To prepare that. That's nice. So here you go. You have your first webinar done, completed. And Frederick, as usual, thanks a lot for preparing it. Wish everybody a good evening, good day. And yeah, if you have, for those who want to replace Airtable, just a quick promo. We're doing a 50% discount on the Airtable bill if you migrate within 2025. So feel free to reach out to us and see if we can help you further. For now, thanks everybody, and see you at the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.